We are 7 days away from Chicago Bulls Media Day and 14 days away from the Chicago Bulls playing their first preseason game. We're going to talk about things that I want to see from the Bulls in this upcoming season, and we're going to dive into the mailbag. All that and more right after this.
You are now tuned in to Chicago Bulls Central, your number one place for all Chicago Bulls news and content.
What's going on, Bulls fans? Welcome to another episode of Chicago Bulls Central, your number one spot for everything Chicago Bulls related. I'm the host, Sarah Hayes, but more importantly, you guys can follow the channel at Bulls Central Pod on every social media platform we happen to be on. With that being said, let's go ahead and get into the content for today. And first up, we're going to talk about things that I want to see from the Chicago Bulls in next season before we get into the mailbag, which is going to be the majority of today's episode. And really, when it comes down to it, right, there are a couple of things that I want to see this Bulls team do and use training camp to, achieve and then see, the foundation of that kind of, laid in the preseason. And that is first, the Chicago Bulls having a goddamn identity, right? That's what the first thing that I want to see from the Chicago Bulls team, use this training camp period for, it's good to see the Bulls like go out there and play baseball and do the team building things and all that type of stuff. It's really good to see that, right? And we know that this has been a team that is enjoyed and like each other. This is a team that does get along both on and off the court. But when it comes down to it, this Bulls team needs an edge. They need a spark plug. They need something that just is and emphasizes the Chicago Bulls style of play, and we haven't had that in a while, right? We've fought by the edge of our seats. While the initial season of DeMar DeRozan, if anything, we're to look at that, it was really like that, and him, making big plays and stepping up in big moments, the big shots that he made, things like that. And we had a little brief period of it when Lonzo Ball was there, and just how this team really got out in transition, and their defense caused easy offense for them and things like that. Like, this team hasn't had an identity since then, and so really, I've talked about Javon Carter and Torrey Craig and the edge that they bring to this team, but overall, we need this team to understand the importance of really setting and having an identity and tone and consistent level of play. Like, what is this Chicago Bulls team going to be known for other than struggling, right? And that's what we need to see. Stop giving up the big leads, but you need some edge, right? You need some of that. And so I want to see the Chicago Bulls team really develop identity early, right? And a similar identity to what we had when Pat Bev was here, but want that to be for the whole season. And then on the outside of that, I want to see an evolution for the Chicago Bulls offense this year. We need an evolution, right? Whether that means playing through Vooch, do more inside out type thing, whether that means, getting out in transition and playing at a faster pace is something that we've talked about as well. And yes, the Bulls can play at a faster pace, even with Nikola Vucevic on the team. He actually does well on more fast-paced teams. So, I already know there's going to be some keyboard warriors typing on that one. But, whatever it is, I want to see evolution from the Chicago Bulls offense, right? Run more, catch and shoot opportunities for Zach LaVine. Operate more Vooch on post-ups, but, diving post-ups where he can get really going and kind of working the thing that really, brings his game together, right? Have more players move off ball. That is something that literally, for going on now 3 years, right? 3 seasons, I should say. Podcast has only been around for 2 years, but 3 seasons, I've been saying the same thing. Move without the goddamn ball. Come on, man. The only player that moves consistently without the ball is Alex Caruso, right? I do think we're going to get a little bit more of that now with Javon Carter, with Torrey Craig. I think that's going to come along some as well. But evolution from the Chicago Bulls offense, no matter what that means, right? Evolution, growth, change, right? That also puts a bit of that ownership on Billy Donovan to come up with a scheme that better utilizes the skill set of the players that he has here on that roster, right? That's what we want to see. And then lastly, I want to see a step to a leap from a lot of the young players, right? We need to see Kobe White take a step up from even what he did last year. We need to see Patrick Williams, and we actually have a voicemail on what I think would be a nice step up for Patrick Williams this year, right? Can Dalen Terry get on the court? How is Ayo Dosunmu going to get consistent minutes on this team, right? Does Julian Phillips carve out a role for himself? But we need to start seeing some of these young players take those consistent steps, right, so that they can be kind of banked on more on what they're going to be able to give. And a big part of it through Patrick Williams, right, and especially Patrick Williams and what he can do defensively and being an energy guy and getting out his own way mentally. You're not going to get a lot of shots on this team, and that is okay, but there are so many other aspects at the game of basketball that Patrick Williams can absolutely thrive at if his mentality is correct and in the right space. So that's what we want to see from some of the young players, and one of the things that I want to see as well, and overall coaching as well. We need to be a better coach team, and that doesn't mean I'm not expecting somebody to be fucking Phil Jackson out there, right? But I'm expecting just use what you have better, right? Come up with it. Can we inbound the ball a little bit better, right? I'm really excited. Leading up to media day is always kind of the unofficial start of the season. And then, you have a week of training camp, and then we're right to the preseason at that point in time. And we will be talking about Bulls basketball in 2 weeks' time. 2 weeks' time. That's 14 days. We will be talking about Bulls basketball. We will be back having live post-game shows, pre-game shows. We will be back rocking and rolling in 14 days. I'm excited. I hope you guys are excited as well. And we'll see what we got from this Bulls team coming up then. But let's go ahead and jump into the mailbag for today. This first voicemail, this one's from Shay.
Yo, Hayes, what's up, man? Look, I know a lot of people are coming up with their predictions and all that. I'm going to make a bold prediction. You may call me stupid, and you may call me crazy, blah, blah, blah. I don't give a fuck. But I'm predicting. I know this is a bold one, but fuck it. I'm going to do it anyway. Patrick Williams will make a defensive team this upcoming season. Now, look, I know you're going to call me crazy, whatever. Woo, I don't give a shit. But this motherfucker, I don't know about him taking a huge leap offensively, but defensively, I think that he will make a second or first team all defense. Hey, man, tell me what you think. Peace.
He will to make an all defensive team this season. Shay, first of all, Shay, why do you curse like a 14-year-old kid? Your curse words don't even make sense. You just throw them in there, and it don't even make sense, bro. But no, I agree with you on this one. I got to throw Shay's my little brother. I got to throw Shay some shade. But no, I think Patrick Williams making an all-defensive team this season would be showing that growth that a lot of people want. I know you're gonna get still some fans because they still doubt Alex Caruso, right? And there's some just idiotic fans in the way that they look at Alex Caruso. But I think that ultimately, when it comes down to it, Patrick Williams, if he's able to get on the all-defensive team this season, that means that he has taken that a step, right, in the right direction. And it's not all about scoring. So many people focus so much on scoring nowadays, and I get it. That's the easiest thing, especially for box score watchers and those that don't actually watch the game of basketball. It's easier for them to kind of talk about a player's value when they're talking about what they did scoring-wise. But Patrick Williams, the fact of the matter is he has so much potential and so many ways that he can thrive that making an all-defensive team, I don't even think that that's a bad desire to want to see from Patrick Williams this season. I don't think that that's bad at all. I think that Patrick Williams is going to get more than enough opportunities to be on a defensive team, right? He may not get enough shots to do some other things, right? But what he can do defensively, what he can do rebounding wise, what he can do block shots wise, right? Those are the things, stealing, getting out in transition, right? Those are the things that we want to see from Patrick Williams. And if he's able to make an all defensive team this season, I don't care which all defensive team it is, if Patrick Williams is able to do that, that to me says that this season was that step in the right direction, another step that we want to see. Because I think that leap that a lot of people want to see from Patrick Williams is still a year or so off. But let's start making those steps to where we can start seeing the groundwork and foundation laid for Patrick Williams in those areas. And I think that an all-defensive first team is a great marker for that. Shout out to Shay on that one. Let's get into the next one. This one's from the 312.
Hey, what's up, Hayes? I ain't been watching the show in a minute. Every now and then I peep at the show, though, because I don't like the other little talk shows that the other people have, because they always got this thing where on the Bulls information that they think yours is more legit, and that's why I kind of listen to you a lot, and sometimes I catch the video. But I'm with the Tyler Hero thing for Lonzo Ball, because Lonzo, I don't care. That's over with, bro. That's over with. I don't care how much he say he coming back. That's dead. That's dead. But what I really am tired of hearing is that fucking James Harden thing. Nobody wants James Harden ball hogging ass. No defense. No show in the playoffs. We seen that everywhere he went. I wish they quit talking about that, man. That is so a dead conversation there. James Harden, no, I wouldn't give up nobody for James Harden. He can stay where he at. I kind of like our team. We just gotta get it done. But what you think about that?
Tyler Hero. Oh, well, you said the Lonzo Ball dead contract thing. And I would, if the Bulls are able to use Lonzo Ball's contract to bring in any type of talent that we can use now, like I said with the Tyler Hero thing, I'm not mad at it. Is Tyler Hero a perfect player? No. Does Tyler Hero bring everything that the Chicago Bulls need? No. But if they're able to somehow bring in Tyler Hero using mainly that Lonzo Ball contract to do so, I can't knock it, because at that point you've traded a contract and a player that you haven't gotten anything out for a full season in last season. It's going to be another full season this season. So it's going to be 2.5 years. If you're able to bring in, and let's not act like Tyler Hero is a terrible player, right? He's a very flawed player, especially on the defensive side, and he's not perfect. Is he a bit overpaid? It really depends on how you look and view the way that the contracts have risen in the NBA in the last few years. But Tyler Hero is absolutely a player that can get you buckets, right? And if that's coming off the bench for you, you can do a lot worse than that, right? We need shooting. We need some stretching the floor out. So again, if they're able to segue the Lonzo Ball contract into that, I can't be mad at that. Now, as far as the James Harden part of it, I do think that fans have died down on that. I think most people realize James Harden to the Chicago Bulls would be a terrible idea. It's a terrible idea, and it's literally one of those things that would literally make me be over this front office. And I would never stop being a Bulls fan. That's never going to be the case. I'm a Bulls fan for life, so that's never going to change. But that is one of those moves that I would literally have to look at this front office and be like, I'm waiting outside the UC for AK, because he got to catch this fade. He got to catch this fade at that point in time. So, that's what it is. James Harden, again, a player that's going to put up a lot of points. He's going to win you a lot of games and help win you a lot of games in the regular season. But the postseason, that starts where you start getting into the area where it's like, hey, can you really trust James Harden in the postseason? I don't know if I can, right? So I agree with you there, man. Shout out to you, man. Next voicemail, this one's from Reginald.
Hey, Hayes, this is Reginald from Columbus, Georgia. I just got done watching the Locked On Bulls for Pat, and while I agree with the idea that they would be actually a good fit to help the Bulls improve, I just don't see the Bulls wanting to trade Zach LaVine for him, because I think that's the main point of having Zach and Dame on the same team. Once again, I think the best option for Portland would be to trade Dame to Chicago for like DeMar, Zoe, and 3 first-round picks, one being their own. They can either trade them to LA after that, or Rue Hachimura and Jared Vanderbilt to get more time, or they can just let them walk. They use the career-ending exception on Zoe afterwards, turning up like $48 million from their book at the end of the year. But tell me what you think. Oh, and I also agree that no free agent point there. I'll say really overpay him. Hence, Jeremy Grant. Thanks.
Listen, and I get it, and you're saying that the best that the Portland Trailblazers can get is like DeMar and 3 first-round picks from the Chicago Bulls. Listen, if a team won, and we've talked about it, the New York Knicks can offer a deal that can blow that out the water. Hell, the Brooklyn Nets really, in reality, can offer a deal that can blow that out the water too. The Dame ain't coming to Chicago. It's not happening. Dame is not coming to Chicago. I get that him and DeMar DeRozan share an agent and things like that, but he's not coming to Chicago. It's not happening. I do think that we can get involved in the Portland Trailblazers trade with the Heat, just because we have something that no other team has in the NBA, and that's we have those protections on Portland's first round pick, right? That go up to 2028, 2029. And the reason why that may be beneficial for the Portland Trailblazers is, keep in mind, we get that pick the next time the Trailblazers make the playoffs. And while doesn't look like they're going to make the playoffs anytime soon, who's to say that Scoot, Shaden, Anthony Simons, right, Chris Murray, that they don't hit their development fast, right? Kind of like the baby Bulls in a way, right? The Kirk Hinrich, Ben Gordon, Luol Deng led Bulls before D Rose came here. Those were teams that were making the playoffs. They didn't do much in the playoffs, but then at that point in time, you're then going to lose your pick. Let's say Scoot does have an amazing season and comes off in year 1 or year 2 and pushes the Portland Trailblazers to the playoffs in year 2 or 3. We have that pick for the next 5 years. We have that pick. So if the Portland Trailblazers look at that and say, hey, no, we think that this is a team that can make the playoffs in the next 5 years, they could definitely want that pick back, right, and to remove the protections from that pick, so that way they can keep adding young talent to that core, because they're never going to be a free agent destination. So that may be the Bulls on getting in on this Dame Lillard trade and getting something back for it, and we'll see what that ends up being for the Chicago Bulls. But Dame Lillard coming to Chicago, I'm still saying there's no way in which that happens. Now, if I have egg on my face for that, it is what it is. We'll see what happens. All right, let's get into this next voicemail. This is another one from Shay.
Yo, what's up, Hayes? How you doing, man? Look, I know I've said this before in the past, but I think we should run the offense through Nikola Vucevic. The reason why I say this is because, think about it. It only makes sense. DeMar DeRozan could get his shot at any time. Zach LaVine could get his shot at any time. And when you think about it, Vooch is the only real one besides DeMar that could collapse the defense and that could kick the ball out for an easy shot. Now, I know that's going to be hard to do with DeMar DeRozan and all that, but I feel like if we establish that inside game early, often in games, we will win a lot more games than we lose this upcoming season. Now, look, I know what you're going to say. Oh, DeMar DeRozan is going to prevent that because he operates in the mid-range. Yes, that's true, but Zach LaVine is a good shooter. And like I said, him and DeMar can get their shots going at any time. And Patrick Williams has developed himself into one of the best three-point shooters. And Javon Carter is a great three-point shooter. And I feel like Vooch will help him. Running offense through Vooch really helps him a lot more times than not, especially get himself in the offensive game. But, hey, I could be wrong. Anyway, tell me what you think. Peace, my nigga.
Running the offense through Vooch, I think a lot of people realize that this is probably the best move for the Bulls, right? And I think that when you see how Vooch plays in Orlando, how he played out internationally, Vooch is better because he's such a smart basketball player. And when we say play through Vooch, it doesn't necessarily mean he gets the most shot opportunities. It just means that he is one of the highest IQ basketball players that you have on this team, especially passing wise. And I think that if a player like Kobe White wins the starting point guard position, it makes it even more valuable to play your offense through Vooch. Maybe not every single possession, but a lot bigger chunk than what we have in the past. I think that can open up. It opens the game for Zach. It opens the game for Kobe White. As I said, whenever he's on the court, it opens up the game some for Patrick Williams as well. The only player that really doesn't benefit from things going through Vooch is DeMar DeRozan, and because DeMar just isn't that good off the ball. He just isn't, right? He's better with the ball in his hands. So that would take Billy Donovan having to make a substantial change to the way that he operates and runs this team. Now, that is the most dangerous thing to kind of bet on with this team, in my opinion, is hoping that Billy Donovan is going to make a change of that magnitude. But I still do think the best bet would be for this team as it's currently constructed, and while you don't have a true half-court run the offense through me point guard, that Vooch would offer that best situation and scenario for the Chicago Bulls. But hey, guys, let me know what you guys think on that one down below. All right, let's get into the last voicemail for today. This one's from Casual Kelder.
Hey, you knew Kelder was going to call about this one. Look, guys, let's be intelligent fans. We can talk about Dame Lillard. Everybody knows he's really good. We should also know he's really not coming to the Bulls. They don't have a lot of the assets. I mean, they were ranked as, and I know it's just hoop type, but they were ranked as the team with the worst trade assets in the league. That tells you something. They have to trade at least, I don't even know what they have to trade. But, you're talking about losing LaVine and Williams and a bunch of picks. Why would Damian Lillard want to come to Chicago? He's already kind of said Miami or nothing. So let's put that one to bed. Let's talk about the real important thing here is Zach LaVine. Look, Zach LaVine's been on trade rumors, all summer and off season and last season. Does this mean to you? Do the Bulls, internally, are they just not believing in him? Do they think that maybe, I don't think they think they made a mistake maxing him, but I don't think that they believe he is that guy to take them into the next era of being really, really good or contenders. And I'm, for one, I'm happy. I don't think he is. I don't think he ever was. I thought if they had to tear down the whole team, he should have been probably the first to go because he might have had the most value. But that was just me. I know. I'm a casual. I don't understand all the wonderful things he does. But to me, you don't build around a scoring-only guard. I'm glad to see that the front office might be seeing that, and they might get off of this and try and get some assets back for him, maybe try more bites at the two-way apple. But what do you think? Does this, all these rumors, do the front office, do they think LaVine is, not that guy? And do you think he's going to keep coming up in trade rumors unless they win 50? I mean, 45 wins, what's 45? That's decent. But, you got to have some sort of future and assets in the future, too. What do you think? Is LaVine gone?
All right, and I knew Kelder was going to jump on this, and here's what I'll say. No, it does not mean that let's be clear here. If the Chicago Bulls front office just wanted to move Zach, they could move Zach. them listening to offers is different than shopping. Now, like I've said before, and I do think that it can eventually get to that area where they start looking to shop Zach LaVine, but I don't think it's because they're necessarily out on Zach. I think that they're going to evaluate at that point in time. I've said 2 years, right? Zach will be a player going into his 30s. They may look to do something, but those young players got to step up, right? And we could talk all day about Zach wasn't the player to build around. And I keep presenting this question to you, Kelder, and I haven't gotten an answer yet. Who else on the Chicago Bulls roster should they have built around? The answer is they didn't have anybody, right? And building around a player like Zach LaVine adds versatility to, even if you do move off on him, it's a more modern team at that point. And that's why it was the right decision to build off Zach LaVine's skill set, even if you don't necessarily believe that the player is going to be your number one once you get to the where you want to be, because that skill set is a more well-rounded one, especially offensively, and it adds versatility for how the rest of the team can be built around that. Now, do I think this? And I've said this on an episode earlier in the week, where there's smokes, that it's eventually going to turn into fire if it's not yet. And so while they're listening to offers on Zach LaVine, if the team doesn't excel eventually, and they just have to make a move, and Zach LaVine sending him out to the team, getting, and what we've heard back, they still hold high value for Zach. And so because of that, like if they do get that value that they seek and see Zach LaVine in, they're going to get a hell of a package back or a hell of a player back. And so what we heard last is that the Bulls want a young player, they want a veteran, and they want at least 3 first-round, I think it was 2 first-round picks back for Zach LaVine. In this modern day that we live in, that's a hell of a package to get back, and that shows that you do still believe in the value of the player, but you may also have to recognize and realize it's time to go in a different direction. And I do think that the Bulls can get into that place eventually, right? And so we'll see what happens with that, but this team, they're going to keep trying to build and improve this team. And like I said, I think the next time that the Bulls make a substantial move is the summer of 2025, because that is when, the Bulls, all the first round picks that they're owed theoretically should be out by then. They have all their own first round picks. And then at that point in time, if they do need to take a step back, they own all their future picks. So if they do make a trade that's going to make the team worse, they're then in the lottery with their own picks and don't risk another team benefiting and getting that. And that's where I think the next time we could see something majorly change with the Chicago Bulls roster. But hey, let me know what you guys think down below. But that's my time for today, guys. Make sure you guys are following the show at Bull Central Pod. You can send us any feedback, questions, comments, concerns, bullcentralpod@gmail.com. Lastly, if you want to leave a text message and our voicemail for our mailbag, the number to do so, 773-270-2799. We are the number one spot for everything Chicago Bulls related, thanks to you guys. And like I like to end every episode on, go Bulls. Love you guys. See Red if you can, y'all. Peace.
This has been a presentation of the Break Media.